Good evening. Welcome to another Heart of the Witch's Path podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Helen.
And I'm Kathy.
And this is number 103 of our podcasts. If you've been listening to us, thank you for tuning in. We're joined today by some mischief makers in terms of furry friends. Kathy's two cats. Do you want to tell everyone their names?
They're Magnus and Nala, and they are very interested in everything you do, and for some reason they're very interested in what we're doing today. So
they're very interested in what we do every day. I mean, let's be.
Sometimes they nap, but they're not napping right now, so.
And Magnus and Nala, they're both Bangles, which I call code for trouble, but that's just me.
And you wouldn't be wrong.
So anyhow, today we are here on a chilly, starting to freezing rain Sunday here in mid-Michigan, and we want to talk about an event that's coming up
that we're very excited about.
That we've been excited about for a few years.
That we get excited about every year.
Right.
It's an annual event.
Right. The MEC, which is the...
I don't know.
Michigan
something council.
Yeah, Michigan something council. They put on an event called ConVocation. And what it is it's a 4-day weekend where they basically rent out, this hotel. It's been in a couple of different hotels in the time that we've gone.
This year it's in Dearborn at the Doubletree Hilton.
Mm-hmm, Doubletree Hilton.
In Dearborn, which is a bigger venue than it used to be. And it is a very, very nice hotel.
Yes, it is.
Free cookies.
Oh my gosh, free warm cookies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so good. Anyhow, this weekend is filled with just wonderful pagans coming together. There are classes, there are rituals,
there's several meet and greets, there's a lot of events going on, and you can go and you can spend the entire weekend doing classes and rituals and events, or you can go and do just a few and then spend the rest of the time networking. It's a very fun event, and we've been going about 10 years now.
Yeah.
At least I have.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the great thing about it is these classes, workshops, whatever you want to call them, there's a great mix of local teachers, so there's, Michigan and Ohio people, because it's usually in the Detroit area.
Right.
So it's, local pagans that are teaching classes, but the MEC also brings in nationally and world-known people.
Right.
And it's different every, they try to keep it fresh and new. They have Christopher Penzak, my teacher and mentor. He has been to ConVocation. That's where I met him for the first time. He's taught there. Who else? I'm trying to think of some people that aren't there this year. Raven Caldera, who is incredible. He is a heathen involved in the Norse pantheon, and he's also a pagan homesteader. His body of work is incredible, and I highly recommend him. But this year, some of the wider known authors, like Kathy mentioned, Ellen Dugan will be back, and this is like the third year for her.
I think
third year in a row.
Yeah, and they only do 2 or 3 in a row for the big ones, and they try to cycle them out and get different people in.
Right. Who else is coming this year?
Dorothy Morrison is coming this year. She is awesome.
I love Miss Dorothy.
Dorothy is an award-winning author, and she's written several books on witchcraft. And she is also the creator of the Wicked Witch Mojo and Hexology occult product lines, which I believe is produced through Coventry Creations.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think you're right.
We will have Helen put the wickedwitchstudios.com on her stuff there so that you can...
Yeah, we'll have that in the description box, so you'll be able to... we'll link Coventry Creations and the Wicked Witch Studio so that if you're interested in checking out those lines, it's candles and there's oils, and it's geared towards specific things.
Right.
I think I'm trying to remember.
And while we're talking about Coventry Creations, we need to mention Jackie Smith, who is also a speaker. Yes. And she is co-owner of Coventry Creations, and they have a full line of pretty much anything that you can think of that you want to do. They will help you. Their products will help you do it.
Candles and oils. Jackie's shop. She has a shop in Ferndale. I've mentioned her multiple times in different blog posts. She is a hoodoo practitioner, an all-around awesome chick. I mean, she's in tune with the spirits that she works with, and she gives great advice,
right?
And stuff like that. So she
and Dorothy are both very much get it done. Oh, this is how you get it done, and this is what you do to get it done.
Yes, very, very much.
And they're very, very good at that type of thing. Other featured speakers this year are Diana Paxton, which I really don't know too much about, but she's involved with the Covenant of the Goddess.
I'm really interested in Andres Corbin Arthen. He has, to my knowledge, never been to ConVocation.
No, I've never seen him.
At least he's never been to the years that I've gone. But the website for which, by the way, we'll link ConVocation.org. I'll link that in the description box as well. But Andres, in his little bio there, says that he is a spiritual director of the Earth Spirit Community, and he serves on the Board of Trustees for the Parliament of the World's Religions. And I gotta say, that sounds incredibly cool. I mean, that sounds like a big time, a big time person coming to Michigan,
right?
But he's been teaching throughout the U.S. and abroad since the mid-'70s. So really, in terms of the neo-pagan movement, he ranks right up there with Selena Fox.
Which she has been at previous years. That's another one. Right. She's not here this year, but she has been previously. Starhawk.
Right. I can never remember. Yeah, Ruth Barrett and Z Budapest. I mean, these are our elders.
Right.
And I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to say.
Right.
And he has some really interesting workshops that we'll talk about in a little bit. But another honored guest is Care Cahulan.
I'm glad you can pronounce that.
I believe I'm pronouncing it right. Care is another Wiccan author. He is a retired police officer / dispatcher. And he has been a pagan for many, many years.
Out and proud.
Definitely.
For many years.
Definitely.
Even as a police officer. He has a lot of really interesting stories.
Yes. And he's the author of many books. He's got about 4 to 6.
I don't know.
But Wiccan Warrior is one of his
Full
books.
Contact Magic.
Right. And he has created a tradition. It's called the Order of it's an order of knighthood called the Order of Paladins. And his philosophy is very much warrior driven, very much honor bound, and conducting your life that way. So he's been a very interesting presenter in the past. We've talked about Dorothy. We've talked about Diana Paxton. Sounds interesting. I'm hoping to maybe catch one of her classes. She is an elder in the Covenant of the Goddess and in the Troth. Sorry, I did not pronounce that well. And there's Mother Moon. I've heard that Mother Moon has been at ConVocation before, and apparently this has slipped right under my radar.
Yeah, I don't remember her being there either, but
Crystal remembers her, but Mother Moon was named after her grandfather, who he was a member of the Chippewa tribe, or known as the Ojibwe or Anishinaabe. And I was a Native Studies scholar in college, and I went to college in the UP, so I have experience.
In the Upper Peninsula, for those of us out there who do not know Michigan, terminology, the Upper Peninsula.
But I had friends at that time that were part of the Ojibwe Nation, and so Mother Moon is known as a storyteller. Keeping that alive, that tradition alive, and she has some interesting classes too that I'm kind of intrigued to see. So I think that M.R. Sellers will be back, and he's a fictional author. I don't really know anything about him.
His Rowan Gant books are very good. I've read most of them.
Oh, have you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about him.
He and Dorothy Morrison are really good friends.
Okay, there we go. There we go. So that's the presenters that will be there that we're kind of excited to see.
We didn't mention Michelle Belanger, who I love. She was a part of the Paranormal State TV show. She was the psychic on that show. She does a lot of psychic classes based on, telling stories about the psychic investigation she's been on. She is a psychic vampire, so she has classes on that. She's very, very interesting. She's also writing a new fiction series, which should come out late this year or early next year.
We're hoping, yeah.
That I'm very excited about, because she read an excerpt of it last year, and it was so good. I cannot wait.
Yeah. She is based in Cleveland or Cincinnati. I'll link her homepage down below. She is also one of the founding members of an organization called the House of Keperu, which is a group that she helped to start. That they've got. I don't know a whole lot about like their philosophy or anything like that.
It's a lot of energy work.
Yeah, we've gone to like one workshop where they presented, and I think we went to a ritual once.
We did
too, but I really don't know enough to say, oh, hey, this is what they're about. But they have a weekend event that they do once a year too.
Do they?
That's workshops and stuff like that. So, and that's in, I think it's Cincinnati, where she is.
But I think she's in Cleveland. Well, it's on her website where she's at.
Well, yeah, it'll be there.
It's yeah.
But yeah, she's amazing.
So there's a lot of speakers that are local that I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with Jason Mankey. He began in Lansing, so he was a Michigan-based person. He's since moved to California, I believe, and he's more well-known. I've seen some of his articles listed on some internet blogs that I follow.
Like Witchbox?
No.
Is he on Witchbox?
No, there's another one that I follow that I can't think of the name of at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've seen his articles out there, so he's become more well-known.
Yeah, and Jason's very much about... there's a lot of people nowadays that will kind of talk about the pop culture references to magic and things like that.
And he's into music references when it comes to that.
He does. I think he's really into Pan and Dionysus
and
he's
Bacchus. Doing a class this year on heavy metal.
So he does a lot. He's done like a Jim Morrison ritual and stuff like that I've never gone to.
No. But he's interesting.
He's an interesting cat. I mean,
that's one way to put it.
Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely cool.
Right.
Crystal, whom we had on last time as a guest, she has had some workshops at ConVocation.
I've taken a few of his.
Hers.
Hers? Yes, I've taken a few of hers. I was still Jason Mankey.
Thinking about Jason Mankey. So it starts Thursday evening. There's an opening
5
ritual.
5 o'clock, I think, is the first class, but the opening ritual is at 2 or 3.
Right, and so there's Thursday evening, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and half of Sunday. I mean, I don't know how many classes there are because I've never counted, but I think they've added
a lot
additional time slots.
So the first day of ConVocation this year is February 19th.
Oh yeah, we should cover those dates.
And there is a 5 o'clock class first time at ConVocation, so that helps you get an idea of what you should be doing, things to keep an eye out for.
If you're a newbie.
And then the opening ceremony actually is at 7 p.m.
Okay.
So
that's good.
So it is at the Doubletree Hilton in Dearborn, Michigan, and February 19th is the first day.
And it runs through Sunday, which is like the 22nd, I believe.
Yes.
So let's talk about classes that we're interested in, and we have our little itinerary that we kind of got off a scotch. But that's okay.
It's fine. Let's talk about classes. So Helen, tell me the class that you are the most interested in taking this year.
Well, the one that I'm most interested in taking? Wow, I would have to say that I am very much looking forward to a class called The Badass Mamas of Magical Intervention.
With Dorothy and Jackie.
And these two women, let me tell you what. Dorothy is a really good storyteller.
Oh, yes.
I can remember her telling a story about the Ken doll that lives in her freezer.
Right.
She's great, and Jackie's great, and the two of them together, they're the bomb.
It's amazing.
What about you? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I am most looking forward to actually 2 classes. One being the pop culture magic.
We talked about
because
pop culture.
I really feel like we can really use pop culture in our magic.
Sure.
And the other one is the world building class, which talks about using it as a spiritual experience.
And
I'm interested in world building because Helen and I do role playing games,
and that's pretty much where that term comes from.
Right.
You know, world building in reference to when you game something like Dungeons and Dragons or Vampire the Masquerade or whatever your system is that you're into, your storyteller or game master or whatever they're called, they come up with the scenario that the players come into contact with.
So it's the world, it's the people, it's the places, it's the magic system. World building is also used when you're writing fiction, like Tolkien,
Kelly Armstrong.
Right, they build the whole world.
Right.
And so I'm interested in that class.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the where the magical spin is.
Well, part of it is, you're doing this whole belief system, so they have legends, they have gods, theoretically, in the world, depending on how far you're going into world building.
Right.
But I'm not going to get into that here.
Right.
It's a totally different class.
Right.
Totally different.
Yes. Okay, so that was...
So the pop culture and the
building your world.
Right. But there are other ones that look really interesting, too. There's an essential oils class. There's a Gaia ritual that I'm very interested in taking.
Yeah. With our coven, I'm not sure that we've mentioned this on podcasts, and I don't think I've blogged about it, but last year our coven decided, since our coven name is the Mystics of Riallure, we hadn't up to that point had a patron god or goddess that was coven. We decided that we would take on Gaia and, asked her if she wanted to work with us, and she agreed, and so she is the patron goddess of our coven. It's like it was made for us, this ritual, so I'm looking forward to that a great deal.
And the other class that I plan on taking definitely is the warding for the home and family, and I think that will be useful. I like to keep myself safe. I like to keep my family safe. So, and I've done a lot of different things to keep my family safe and keep my property warded. So I'm interested to hear some other options on how to do that.
How other people are doing it.
Or to share how I've done it.
Right.
So,
I'm, aside from the one that I mentioned, I definitely want to take a rune class this year because runes are, that's the divination that I've chosen to work with this year. put those runes to work. There's an interesting class called Coping with Chronic Illness that I'm kind of interested in, not because I have a chronic illness, but because I know people who have a chronic
people, yeah.
And if I can help facilitate something for them, that would be amazing. And of course, I want to check out Andres Corbin Arthen and a Mother Moon class. So that's where I'm looking at to go.
There also are a couple of other rituals, and there's the masquerade on Saturday night. That's very interesting to go to.
Yeah, there's a masquerade ball, and they give away prizes.
And are they doing the teacup raffle this year? I know that the Tempest Smith Foundation is not doing it, but
usually. There's a teacup raffle, but it's a different organization.
Pagan Pathways Temple is doing a teacup raffle,
and I think that is an organization that helps pagans in need, so like low income families and stuff like that. So basically, the teacup raffle is people donate items that are raffled off. You buy tickets and you put a ticket in the cup for the thing that you want to win,
or bag in this case,
right? And they pick. That Saturday night, before the masquerade ball, they do a big drawing to give everything away.
Right.
And up until last year, the Tempest Smith Foundation was the benefactor of that raffle.
I think they've disbanded because the woman who ran it passed away
a few years ago, and her partner continued the work, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah. So that's always a nice thing. It's nice to be able to have that sense of community and charity within our community.
Right, absolutely.
So that's nice. So let's talk about a couple of other things before we wrap it up. The first thing is, you're a newbie, a newbie who's coming to ConVocation. What is a must for them to bring?
Well, absolute must is a notebook and a pen or pencil, because you are going to want to take notes in these classes. There is a lot of good information that you get, and if you don't write it down, you are going to forget it, because there is a lot of classes that you can take, and if you end up taking a lot of them, it's kind of like overload. So you definitely want to keep some way of recording what it is you're learning. And a lot of these teachers give you things like
suggested reading.
Right, absolutely. Websites, organizations, books, and you want to have that stuff recorded.
You want to have a means to be able to write it down.
Right.
Another thing that you always want to bring is being a pagan attended organization. We're concerned about waste and being green and all that kind of stuff, and it's strongly suggested that you bring your own water bottle, because
they have water in all of the rooms, and they do have cups, but it's better to bring your own water container
because it's reusable. You're wasting less.
Right. While we're talking about water, we should mention that they have a room where you can go to get tea and coffee and hot water and stuff like that, and the hospitality room.
Yes.
So and again, while we're talking about food, it's good to bring snacks, although there are some in the hospitality room, because the hours are kind of funky, so you end up being really hungry until you hit lunch. So it's good to have something to snack on between classes.
Right. You also want to make sure that you have comfortable layers, because some of those rooms can run hot or cold, and you want to be able to kind of go with the flow, to keep your body temperature
and
regulated.
Wear something comfortable, because some of these classes, they want you to be on the floor, some it's in chairs, some they want you to move around, so it just depends on what you're taking. So it's good to wear something comfortable.
And another thing that you can always bring is a form of divination. Bring your tarot cards, bring your runes, bring whatever.
A lot of times we will pull a rune or a card at the beginning of the day to give us kind of guidance on what we should be focusing on for that day.
Right. So some other things to kind of highlight about the weekend is the opportunity for networking. Like we mentioned, it is a weekend filled with pagan people, and it's a great way to come into contact with other covens, other organizations, If you're someone that's a solitaire, or someone that, if you're the only one that's into heathenism or into Santeria or whatever, you'll probably find somebody there who you can talk to,
right,
and stuff like that. And so it's a great way to meet new people.
Right.
There's also a vendor room.
Right.
So they like to, they try really hard to keep the things that are in the vendor room, I don't know if I want to call it like homemade,
well,
but it's not a mass produced.
Right. It's not like Azure Greens is stuff
at
every table. Although there is at least one.
Mm-hmm.
But they have things like drums and wooden boxes and
beautiful corsets
and hats and cat toys.
Right. You can get Jackie's candles there and stuff like that. So the vendor room is really cool. There's also an art room where people will draw things, create things, and you can see displays of that, and you can actually purchase things there as well. So that's kind of nice. I
think that
might be about it.
Yeah.
So you might be thinking, okay, wait a minute, you guys. I thought you were going to do a correspondence for every episode, and we haven't forgotten about it, but we just wanted to save it for last this time, because I think that I really wish that we would have had this warning the first couple of years that we went. I would suggest everyone who goes to ConVocation to either wear or carry on them a hematite stone of some kind.
There is a lot of energy moving around at ConVocation, a lot of varied energy moving in a lot of different ways, and it is very important to stay grounded. It's so easy to just have all this energy affect you, and if you don't have something to ground you, you're going to be in trouble, because we were in trouble the first weekend that we went together.
Yeah, we were wiped out. Like, there were evening classes where we didn't even attend anything because we were drained.
Right.
So wearing a hematite, it's good for protection. It absorbs negativity, and it helps to relieve like grief and pain. And so a hematite, it's a natural grounding stone. So it helps you to stay focused. And of course, you need to put a little of your own intent into this. Just carrying it isn't going to do the whole trick, but it's going to help you. And if not a hematite, then maybe like a quartz, or a rutilated quartz, because those are good for the same types of things.
But if you don't have a hematite, you can find one in the vendor room.
Oh, certainly. Or a ring or something like that. So I guess that wraps it up for this week.
It does.
We hope that if anyone who's attending ConVocation and hears this, we encourage you to come and look up Kathy and I.
We'll be wearing the jackets with the little logo that says Mystics of Rare Lore.
And we'll be hanging out with our other Coven sisters.
Who will also be wearing those jackets.
Yes, we got new jackets, and we're really excited about it. So if you're able to attend ConVocation or any other weekend event like this, I highly recommend it. You get so much out of it. It's great. And the cost isn't that much. We never did mention the cost, but the information will be on convocation.org. So that's it for now. We will see you next time. Next time. So once again, thank you so much for taking the time to walk along this path a little while with us. Blessed be.
Blessed be.